This is the video for Unit 7, Day 4. And in today's lesson, we're going to be dividing with decimals again. I know that's what we did for Unit 7, Day 2, but it's a pretty difficult topic, so we're going to get some extra practice in. And today's video is dedicated to Adrian in 6B. Hello, Adrian. All right. So in our first example, we are dividing 312 by 5. So what this is asking us is, how many times can 5 go into 312? So step 1 is, we're going to set up the standard algorithm and divide normally. So what the standard algorithm is the number that we're dividing into, which is this first number right here, that's going to go inside our little dividing house here. And the number that we're dividing by, 312 divided by 5, that's going to go on the outside of the house. And so we're figuring how many times can 5 go into 312. So first, we look at our first digit. Can 5 be divided into 3? No, it can't, because 3 is smaller than 5, so we can't fit any 5s into 3. So we go to our next digit. So now we added the 1 and we have 31. How many times can 5 go into 31? Okay, well, I think 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7 is 35. That's too much. So it's going to be 5 times 6. So I'll put a 6 above the 1 of the 31. And it's really important that I put the 6 right on top of the 1 so we keep the place values here. And then I multiply this top number, 6, times the number that I divided by, 5. And that's 30. So I'll subtract 30 here. And then 31 divided minus 30 is 1. And then I can bring down this 2 here. Bring that down. And now I have 12. And then I think to myself, this number down here, how many times can 5 go into 12? Well, 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. That's too many. So I know it's going to be 5 times 2. I'll put this right above, my 2 here, so it all stays lined up. And then 2 times 5 over here is 10, so we'll subtract the 10. 12 minus 10 is 2. And now I've used all the numbers that I have in 312 divided by 5, and I still have this 2, this remainder 2. And if we want to get a decimal, instead of just putting 62 remainder 2, if we want to get a decimal, what we can do is, we can, and this is what step 2 says, if you have a remainder, we can add a decimal to the number that you're dividing into. So let's do that first. 312, a decimal here. And to keep it all accurate and organized, if we add a decimal here, we also have to add a decimal above the roof of our dividing house, right there. And to make sure the decimal goes directly above. And then we can, after adding decimal, we can add a 0. Add a 0. And the reason why we can add a 0 right here, is because we just changed this from 312 to 312.0. And we can make that math move because 312.0 is the same thing as 312, Or if I had 312.00, that is also the same thing as 312. So the number is staying equal. We're just adding a decimal and a 0. And so this 0 that we just added after the decimal, we can bring that down here. So now we change this 2 into 20. And then I think, how many times can 5 go into 20 4 times. So then I'll do 4 times 5 equals minus 20. And now 20 minus 20 is 0. I don't have any more remainders, so I don't have to add any more zeros to keep on dividing. And I'm all done. So 62.4 is my final answer. 5 can go into 312 62.4 times. Okay. Now let's look at our second example. We are writing 9/20ths as a decimal. And so anytime you have a fraction, right, you can think of it as you have 9 pieces that are split into 20ths. So it's the same thing as taking the numerator, right? This is the numerator. And the 20 is the denominator. It's the number on the bottom. It's the same thing as taking the numerator, putting that into our dividing house, and dividing it by the denominator, which is 20. So the numerator goes on the inside, and the denominator goes on the outside. Now I've set up my standard algorithm for how to divide and turn this fraction into a decimal. So first I think, how many times can 20 go into 9? Oh, and I have to stop there because 9 is smaller than 20. So 20 can't go into 9 any times. So what I have to do, right, step 2, add a decimal, and then so I can add a 0. So I'll add a decimal here, and remember, if I have a decimal inside the house, I have to add a decimal on the roof of the house too. And then I can add my 0. Now that you're at this point, if you can, I want you to pause and then finish solving the rest on your own. And then now that you're continuing the video, you've already tried to solve it on your own, and now you're checking your work. How many times can 20 go into 90? Well, 1 times 20 is 20, 2 times 20 is 40, and then 60, and then 80. So 4 times 20 is 80. 5 times 20 is 100, so that's too much, so I have to stop at 4. 4 times 20. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 2 is 8. I can subtract this. 0 here, 1 here. And remember, I can add as many zeros as I need to. I can extend my house if I need to also. Add as many zeros after the decimal. And I can bring this 0 down. And then, how many times can 20 go into 100? 5 times. And so 5 times 20 is 100. Subtract 100 here. Perfect. No remainders left. Now I'm done dividing. I'll add a 0 before the decimal just to keep my numbers all neat and organized. And 0.45. So 9/20ths as a decimal. I took the numerator and then divided it by the denominator, which is the number on the bottom, and got 0.45. So once you have these two examples, the first thing that I want you to do, step 1, is now I want you to go ahead and sign out, close your computer, and today it's a little bit different. I want you to keep it at your desk. Keep the computer after it's closed at your desk. Then you're going to answer the reflection questions on page 4. That's these two bottom questions right here, right? This one and this one. Answer these in your own words. And then when you're done with those as a class, we're going to move on and work on page 5 for our partner practice. Okay? So first, close your computer, keep it at your desk, and then you can answer the reflection questions.